welcome along to ArsenalFanTV. Now, we thought we'd do something a bit different today. We're joined by Freddie from The Ugly Inside. The Ugly Inside is the Southampton YouTube channel. And, of course, Arsenal taking on Southampton on Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff. And so I thought, let me look ahead to the game with Freddie. He'll be able to give us a good insight into Southampton. And first of all, welcome along, Freddie. 12 o'clock kickoff. I don't like these early kickoffs. The weather's going to be very cold, is what we've been told. I don't think it's not going to snow down here, though, is it? Snow's not predicted, is it?
No, well, I actually picked up on another Arsenal page earlier on, and it said it was snowing in Southampton. I haven't seen anything, and there's no snow to be expected tomorrow. Just absolutely Baltic, so wrap up warm.
Yeah, it's been cold up here in the UK. So, listen, you've been a bit of our bogey team. Over the past few years. We did win there last year. We had that 7-0 win in the cup that basically your big boys weren't out for that game. And we beat you 2-0, I think it was, at the end of the season, towards the end of the season, which was the first time we'd won there in the last 6 visits, which is quite poor by us. We've got quite a shocking record there. And no Arsenal fan, especially the ones that went there, can forget that beating we got off of you on Boxing Day when you beat us 4-0. I mean, that was amongst one of my worst away days ever. But what sort of form is Southampton on at the moment?
Well, firstly, I need to just correct you just slightly a bit there. You didn't put 7 passes in the cup. It was 5. You put 7 passes the entire season. But
sorry. We've been scoring so many goals recently. We're getting carried away. But yeah, you're right. It was 5-0.
But in terms of Saints' form this season, it's been inconsistent, to say the very least. First half of the season, up the 13, 14 games we've played so far, we've had winnable games on paper. We've really messed it up. We've drawn some games, lost some games, and on paper the games that we should have won. Last few weeks, though, very encouraging. Before the Everton game, the team and the management sat down and had a meeting or something. So whatever was said, the togetherness is now back with the squad, and we put 4 goals past Everton, very convincing victory, humiliated them on the day, and then put Man City on the pressure all evening a few weeks ago. Was unlucky.
Yeah. Very unlucky not to get a draw out of that game.
Yeah, very unlucky to go down to an overtime Sterling goal, but very spirited performance last weekend at Bournemouth as well. Coming from a goal down, came back, got a point, and to be honest, before that game, I would have taken a point.
Although Bournemouth had a nailed-on penalty that you kind of got away with one, that would have made it 2-0 at the time.
Would have done. It would have been a mountain to climb, but I think the referee got it right on the day.
Yeah, you're not being serious now, are you?
You have to defend your team. I think, to be honest, those sort of calls, you're probably good for a couple over the season, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
So we got away with it, let's say.
Yeah. So listen, and Charlie Austin has returned to the team and returned to form. He's the guy that I'm really fearing tomorrow. 2 players, really. Charlie Austin, and you can tell us about how he's been getting on. And the guy behind you in that picture, Southampton. I remember that amazing goal he scored earlier on in the season. And I know that if he's on it, he's a very dangerous player. You've also got Tadic and Redmond and guys like that. So you've got a good attacking team. Yeah,
Charlie Austin's come back into the team, and he's scored 8 goals in his last 10 starts. He scored 3 in the last 3 games, so it looks like he's finally firing for Saints on a consistent basis, and he has to be in the squad. It'd be a crime not to put him in the squad against Arsenal on Sunday. As for Sofiane Boufal, well, he got pockets of magic that can win a game, and I think the manager has persisted with him in the last few starting lineups. I think he's been coming off the bench recently. Well, before the last few starting 11s, he's been wasted coming off the bench. He can produce that individual bit of magic, and when he scored that goal against West Brom, he ran over to the manager, showed his passion. He wants to be in that squad, and since then, he's been in the starting 11. Hasn't really been much of an influence since then, but he's a bit like a Mahrez type of player. Very tricky, very skillful, go through, take on players all afternoon, but sometimes goes missing in some of the games.
We're hoping that he's going missing tomorrow, because we need to win that game. What about defence? Now, Virgil van Dijk, is he as good as everybody makes out? I mean, there's loads of Arsenal fans who love him. We know Liverpool were desperate to get him, thought they had him. Every team really in the Premier League looks on it. I mean, every fan that I speak to Arsenal, they're like, put Van Dijk in our defence, problem solved. How good is he?
Van Dijk is the real deal, honestly. Last few seasons in particular, he's been his expectations are bigger than Southampton Football Club. He tried to push that move in the summer. It fell through. It was obviously a manufactured sort of move from his agent or whoever it was. But Van Dijk's got all of the tools. He can take on the players. He's strong in the air. Last weekend won everything in the air against Bournemouth. All right, Bournemouth aren't too much of an aerial threat, but I expect Arsenal to be more of a threat on Sunday lunchtime. Van Dijk takes on the players. He's strong. He's quick for a centre-back and very passionate. And the last few weeks, it looks like his attitude is slightly changing. And you said to me earlier on, maybe he's pushing for a move in January, but we'll see.
Yeah, now it's going to be really interesting in the game because looks like Mustafi's going to be out. So Mustafi won't be playing, which means either Mertesacker comes into defence or they shuffle the defence and have maybe Monreal aerially. I suppose Charlie Austin, if he plays, he's good in the air, isn't he? So that's a threat. But more or less, apart from that, it'd be the same sort of team that played against Manchester United last week that going forward were brilliant. I mean, very unlucky not to get something out of that game in a way because De Gea made so many great saves. So who are the guys who you fear? Because I reckon it'll be that same front three. It'll be Lacazette, Alexis, Ozil. Those three will be spearheading the attack. Will you be able to cope with that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, those three are world-class players, I think we dream for sort of players like that at Southampton Football Club. Van Dijk may be in that bracket, but I mean, Sanchez, Ozil obviously can, defeat a team on their own. I mean, last weekend at Bournemouth, Wesley Hoot made a couple of defensive errors. 3 times he tried turning back to the goal. He got caught on the third. I said it.
He's played a right back, isn't he?
So Wesley Hoot's the left-sided centre-back.
Yeah.
He's new to the squad. He was a new signing in the summer. Looks like he's doing well so far, but those sort of mistakes that he had last weekend, that we cannot afford that against the likes of Sanchez, Lacazette, Ozil, even Walcott if he plays. This speed and the pace to get in behind Wesley Hoot and co is certainly a threat, and we cannot afford to make any mistakes against Arsenal.
What's the Southampton weakness? I mean, our weakness is our defending. Going forward we're brilliant, but defending, as you saw last week against Man United, we were poor. But Southampton, what is the weakness that we as Arsenal would need to, or you're hoping we won't exploit?
Oh, well, last weekend, Jeremy Pié is the second choice right back. He's come in for Cedric. He'll be out for the weekend as well. He won't play against Arsenal. Cedric, one of the best right backs in the entire league, in my opinion. But Jeremy Pié has come in as a French defender. And last weekend, he got caught napping for the Bournemouth goal. He was in the other half of the pitch. He was attacking, didn't come back. His position was exploited, and that's how Bournemouth got the first goal. And I think Jeremy Pié, his lack of game time in the first 11 is probably where the weakness lies. So whoever's playing on that left side, Sanchez probably, Pié's going to have his handful all afternoon tomorrow.
And with you guys, how do you think you'll be defensive, or do you think you're going to be right on the front foot? You're playing at home. How do you think you're going to play? I mean, I know you got this Pellegrino. Is it? I know I said Pellegrini before. Pellegrino, but he can be a bit cautious as a manager. Am I right with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the conversation we had on our channel for our match preview. Does he play 5 at the back, go defensive, or go for a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, whatever? But he went up to Man City for looking for a draw, played the 5 at the back. We weren't expecting anything else other than a point. So I think maybe he might go slightly defensive. What I would do is probably pack that midfield out with 3 heavy central midfielders in Romeu, Højbjerg, Lemina, who's been absolutely superb since his signing in the summer. So Lemina,
we were linked with him. Lemina, we were linked with him.
Yeah, come from Juventus, so certainly hot prospects. Now Lemina's been nothing short of superb this season. Great with both feet, strong in the tackle, bounces people off his shoulder. So if Lemina plays, then your midfielders will have a really nice duel with him, let's say, tomorrow afternoon.
Well, listen, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good game. It's always a good game when we play. It's always well, the funny thing about it is really with Southampton, we play at our place. It's like a standard win. We always just beat you there, but your place, as I said, had a very poor record there. Something that I'm hoping that we can change. Obviously, you don't. What predictions? What do you think? How do you think it's going to go?
I think, as you said on our preview, I think it's going to be a really tight game, and I think there shouldn't be any room for errors. And I think it'd be naive to think that we could go over a comfortable victory again over the last few years that we've had. I think realistically, I'll probably say a draw.
Yeah, I'm edging 2-1. We need this one. Uh, you know what? Looking at the results, today Chelsea dropping points, so there's a chance for Arsenal to push on. Of course, Tottenham won as well, so it's important that we get something out of the game. So, looking forward to the game. Southampton versus Arsenal at St Mary's Stadium. Freddie will be there as well. Freddie, tell us about your channel.
Yeah, so The Ugly Inside, search that on YouTube. Got all Southampton content, match previews, reviews, fan cams, also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that.
And a great also fanzine, right?
Yeah, so the fanzine will be 30 years old in April, so hopefully we're looking to do something special as a commemorative sort of piece in April.
All right, we'll do it special after this game. Yeah? Let us win this one. We need it. Right? Arsenal travelling to are going to be a cold St Mary's. But looking forward to the game. And Freddie, I'll see you at the game, mate.
One thing though, before you go, also for the travelling Arsenal fans, there are bus replacements on the trains coming from Winchester through to Southampton. So although it's already early, 12 o'clock kickoff, you've got to leave extra early to make sure you get on time to the match.
This always happens to us when we're travelling, man. Listen, the fans will turn up. Let's hope the team turns up. Thanks.